pretty often. I think Mongoose is the key for Jacob Wilson in this matchup,
Okay,
really.
if you look at it, both players can kill each other's Delvers, right?
Right.
Erik can also kill Jacob's Goyfs because of the Swords to Plowshares. So maybe it's going to come down to a counter spell war with Dazes, with Force of Will, with Spell Pierce. I don't know. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, the Delver matches always, they have so much play all the time, and really, a lot of the time it comes down to who plays better in these matchups.
Yeah, and both players are so happy to be here. Just look at them smiling, they're laughing. Both are in top 4. They're so close to taking home that trophy.
Right.
But hey, it's just such a good performance. Erik wasn't even really qualified for more than Somerset. He needed to come here. He needed to get that final point. I think he had about 14 points coming into this, and now forget about it. He's qualified for Somerset. He's going to be qualified for Indianapolis.
Yeah.
He might even have an extra qualification after this due to all his points.
That's awesome. It only takes a couple good finishes on the Open Series to qualify for multiple invitationals, which are amazing value.
Yeah, and Erik did top 16, top 16, top 64.
Right.
So he really grinded. But look at Jacob Wilson. He doesn't really play many of these.
No,
he showed up.
Not many at all. He shows up to 1 or 2 a year.
7-0, started 14-0 in games. So that's definitely something really impressive. And if you notice, Jacob Wilson is the 4th seed. So he'll be on the play.
Yeah, Erik Smith snuck into top 8 as that 8th place finisher, X1-1 with the worst breakers. That means he has to be on the draw every round.
Yeah, all right. So we'll see what happens. Jacob Wilson's. We'll go over his deck list one more time. Pretty straightforward. Rug Delver, Nimble Mongoose, Delver Seekers, Tarmogoyf, Snapcaster Mage, Force of Will, Daze, Spell Pierce, Stifle, Brainstorm, Ponder, Cataxian Probe, and of course, Lightning Bolt. So really, really great Magic so far. Look at the judge. The judge is having a ball too. He's laughing. He's saying, you know what, this is awesome. So only 9:48, still pretty early for us.
Yeah.
The last coverage I did was with Cedric, and it was the team event, and we stayed here really late. It was great. I love watching team events. I love watching Legacy.
Yeah, that's awesome. You also got to watch Owen and Reed win the GP, right? And Huey.
And William Jensen. All right, so both with 7 cards. Jacob takes a look. Erik's taking a look. Yep, both players say keep. All right, so there's a Cataxian Probe. And let's see what Erik has. And there's a Tundra, there's a Volcanic Island, as his 2 lands. That's pretty interesting. Sometimes people, when they get probed or they get duressed, they kind of lay it out for their opponent. They set the lands on one side, then they put the spells that you can actually take from the duress. But Erik just kind of plops his hand on the table. We see a Grim Lavamancer, a Brainstormer, Force of Will, a Snapcaster Mage, and of course that Ponder.
Yeah, pretty strong hand for Erik Smith.
It really
is.
He has
all 3 colors of mana. He has the Force of Will, the Brainstorm. He has everything he wants here.
And the one thing he doesn't have is the sack lands, which is really good because he doesn't have to worry about a Stifle.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jacob leads off with Delver. Kind of interesting. Grim Lavamancer. Jacob has to know that Erik has Grim Lavamancer. He Cataxian probed him, but
maybe he has a Daze.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a Bolt.
He could have a lot of things here.
We do see a Stifle. He could stifle it.
Yeah,
he could make Erik, kind of waste the mana, waste some cards, and boom, Stifle.
Right, and Erik, we can see here he's not overloaded with fetch lands or cantrips. He only has the 1 Brainstorm and the 1 Ponder.
Do you think Erik's gonna block? No, Erik takes it.
Yeah, I would take it, I think.
Really interesting, yeah. All right, Jacob does draw a Wasteland, I believe, and if that's the case, he could go a second Delver, Wasteland.
Right, put Erik Smith in the position to have to top deck a red source to even be able to kill that Delver.
I think Jacob definitely wants to play out that Wasteland first because he wants to play around Daze. Ooh, is that not a Wasteland in his hand? Maybe he wants to get dazed?
He probably wants to get dazed right here, yeah.
Well, I don't think he would ever want to get dazed.
Well, it's better to daze the Delver than it is to daze something like a Mongoose, a Tarmogoyf, even a Brainstorm. That Delver is...
Do you think Jacob's thinking, I don't want Erik to have a graveyard? Maybe that's why. Maybe he doesn't want to do the Wasteland play?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's actually
really
thinking about Force of Willing this, though.
Yeah, we don't know Jacob's whole hand. We think we saw a Stifle, and we think we saw a Wasteland, so all our assumptions here, we probably should just wait to see how things play out.
Right.
And if we get a better look at Jacob's hand, then we could really decide. All right, so Erik says, yeah, okay, that's fine. And it was the Wasteland. Okay. All right, so there's a Stifle drawn by Erik Smith. Just out of turn, though, I think Erik's going to have to play his Ponder. And does Jacob have anything? No? All right, there's a Wasteland, there's a Delver, and there's a
Ooh,
Misty Rainforest.
very
Pretty
nice
good.
hit. Yeah,
Yeah,
Erik
yeah.
really needed a fetch land.
Yeah, just any land he
Yeah.
needed, but Fetch Land is definitely the perfect one that he really wants here.
So he gets the fetch land. He'll certainly keep that on top. He'll draw that card. The question is, what does he draw the next turn?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
I would think the Wasteland, but
Yeah, I think he wants to have Misty and the Wasteland. I think that's probably key. Maybe there's some relevant to have drawn the Wasteland and hide the Misty just in case there's another probe to kind of not show Jacob that you do have a red source.
right.
So it's really tricky. It's really complex, and we see what's going on here. So Erik swings in with the Grim Lavamancer.
Yeah, pretty nice. It's like he's trying to tell Jacob, hey, I didn't find a red source. I'll just attack you.
But he really did draw
yeah,
a red
he did.
source.
He
so
did. He's trying to sneak in a point of
Yeah.
damage. Pretty cheeky by Erik Smith at one
yeah,
point.
everyone's really trying to level each other here, but Jacob goes for the block. He likes blocking. Jacob looks, and it is a Goyf.
Wow.
All right, so Delver cracks for 1, and Jacob with no more lands. There's a Wasteland.
Whew. And your opponent has no lands and a 1/1. I think I waste right now.
Yeah, I believe Eric's going to go for the Wasteland. Jacob obviously is going to go for the Stifle, but
Right, maybe
Erik
upkeep
does
Wasteland?
have the Force of Will.
Right.
Yeah, let's see. Stifle, and I believe Eric's going to fight over this.
Maybe a slight misplay by Erik Smith. I would have maybe preferred to Wasteland during the upkeep, make Jared tap that mana during the upkeep, but...
Just in case Jacob were to fight back with a Force of Will, for example.
Right, right.
Okay, so Erik now is going to Brainstorm. This kind of plays into a daze. However, he does draw not 1 but 2 more Force of Wills.
Jeez.
Wow, what a great draw for Erik. Jacob's going to have to be really relying on that Delver flipping and trying to go the whole way, the way the game is looking right now.
Right, with 0 lands in play, Jacob Wilson has to rely on both the top of his deck to draw an instant and the top of his deck to draw a
Yeah.
land, and unfortunately...
Some great draws from Erik Smith here. And there's that Force of Will, throwing away that Snapcaster Mage.
Snapcaster,
Snapcaster
yeah.
Mage, especially in a Delver mirror match where everyone's wastelanding each other, Snapcaster is really a 3-mana card, and
It is.
it's tough to hit 3 lands. Delver
okay.
finally flips with the Force of Will. That's probably the best one to flip with.
It is.
Especially when you have no lands.
Right, now Jacob has something that he can play off 0 lands. Can't play Tarmogoyf, can't play Spell Pierce, none of that
Wow,
stuff.
Erik draws a Delver. And he's going to drop that Misty Rainforest, I believe. Things are looking good for Erik, I want to say.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first when he got wastelanded, but the Ponder dug up some lands, and now he's right back in
Do you
business
think
here.
Jacob's going to try to force this Delver or just let it be?
I don't know. If I'm Jacob, I have to feel like this Delver's a test spell. But
So
no,
this
Jacob
force-
disagrees.
All right, I think if I'm Erik, I'm going to force back.
Wow.
Force pitching force. So what's Erik left with? A Misty Rainforest, and what was his last card?
I think it's a Geist of Saint Draft.
Is it really?
Might be.
All right, well, that's a good one to have, your last one, as long as you draw 1 more land.
Right. So Erik,
I think Eric's thinking if he wants to sack now, play around Stifle, or just pass. He decides to pass. Jacob draws. Not a land.
nope, not a
Looks like
land.
another Delver, maybe.
Yep, 10-17 in Jacob Wilson's favor. And
Ooh,
ooh,
there's a
look at that.
Stifle.
Oh, and that's gotta
That's a good
be
one.
a kick for Jason Wilson.
Oh, it is a
Jacob
Geist.
Wilson.
Yeah, it is a Geist of Saint Traff as his last card. So now I think Erik wants to sacrifice his Misty. He'll probably go fetch up a Volcanic Island. And he doesn't want to attack, I don't think.
No, I think he has to keep this
He
Del-
wants to trade, right? He's at 9. He doesn't want to go to 6 and then randomly get like bolt.
Right, it's kind of an awkward situation because the more time you give Jacob Wilson, the more likely he is to draw a land, but
Yeah.
he's not even close to winning the race.
All right, now if you're Jacob Wilson, you just want to swing in, right?
Yeah, force the trade because Erik Smith has the mana to plow it if he draws one, and you don't have the mana to bolt it if you draw one. So,
Okay.
good trade by Jacob. He needs to draw some land now, though.
Yeah, if he draws a land right here, the Geist of Saint Traff will come down. I think it was a plow. Again, nothing. I think another plow just
Wow.
going back and forth. Oh, there's a tropical island. Wow, another sick game.
Not even a fetch land.
Yeah, I know. Really, really crazy games here. I guess this is why Legacy's so awesome, why so many people love it, because you never know who's going to win, you never know what's going on.
Yeah, the things like, especially the Delver mirrors that are just so intricate. Delver v Stoneblade.
Yeah.
The blue mirrors are really where it's at in Legacy.
All right. Erik draws. There's a Scalding Tarn. He's going to go for a crack right here. And I think Jacob wants to stifle this. he has to worry about Geist State Draft. And what does Erik have? Nothing. You think maybe Erik got a little bit hasty there?
I think so. Again, I think the upkeep uh, is the best place to play with and around Stifle.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really no rush. I think Erik could have waited to turn on his Geist. Now Jacob Wilson with Days backup, he is going to drop a Delver, but Erik has that Swords to Plowshare ready.
Yep. So up to 18 goes Jacob.
Yeah, and there's a fourth land. Well, a third land. It would have been a fourth land, so he could have played around the Stifle, but now it looks like Erik might just walk into the Days.
Yeah, I think so. You know.
Yeah, I think Erik again is just really playing into Rug Delver's trap. You know, you walk into a room, there's a big pot of gold there. You're not just going to go right after that pot of gold. You're going to say, hey, why is there a pot of gold there? And I think Erik just has his eye on the pot of gold and is playing at the Rug Delver. No, but he doesn't. He passes the turn.
Okay.
Wow, everything I just said was completely wrong.
Got to give your friend a little more credit, buddy.
All right, let's see.
Ooh, fetch land. Very nice.
Wow. All right, this game's crazy. Zach, take over, commentate for the rest of the game.
So fetch land for Jacob Wilson. Erik Smith does still have that Stifle, though, so he'll be able to stop that cold. It all depends on when Jacob Wilson decides to crack the fetch.
Yeah. All right, Jacob being really patient here. I guess so is Erik. Oh, there's a Delver. That's a good draw.
Yep,
Jacob
comes
is on
down.
18 life, remember, so he's got a lot of room. He could use his life total as a resource here.
Yep, Jacob Wilson has a full grip. He has a Brainstorm. He has a Stifle, a Daze.
All right, so he's going for the fetch. Erik's got a Stifle. There's a Spell Pierce. Wow. Wow. Jacob Wilson is a master with Rug Delver. This is...
Always seems to have the answer, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, it looked super bad for him. At one point, it looked super bad for Erik, but again, now we're like pretty much back at parity. We don't know what's going to happen. Is that Delver going to flip? Is Erik going to resolve that Geist? There's a Brainstorm end of turn. And it looks like Jacob always knows what his opponent has or what his opponent doesn't have.
Yeah, especially these
and
blue
that's something
mirrors.
you really can't practice. That's just like a gift that you have, maybe.
Yeah, the Delver mirrors, it's all about deductive reasoning and intuition. You just have to figure out what would he have played when, and wow, look at this. Tarmogoyf comes down.
Yep.
Erik can't do anything except swords it, giving Jacob even more life.
That's pretty good flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure is.
So Erik's going to take a look at his graveyard. How big is that Goyf? Is it a 4/5? All right, 4/5. I guessed right.
Yep, as it so often is, 4/5.
I think Erik might just want to lead off with a plow right here.
Plow it, see what's up, see if Jacob wants to fight over that.
Yeah, maybe with a force because of Erik's days now, so he knows that Jacob can't force.
Right.
Because Jacob saw the days.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, he's going for a Geist.
Takes his opportunity to resolve the Geist with days back up, yeah.
I like it. I like Erik's line.
Unfortunately for him, though, this Tarmogoyf is 4/5, and he's at 7. He's within Lightning Bolt and attack range.
I know, yeah. That's the whole thing. I mean, getting Geist out there is awesome, but also you have to remember, you're at 7 life.
Right, Jacob Wilson played 0 Lightning Bolts this game.
Yeah, and he does have that red source now with the Volcanic Island, so this is just... Yeah, this is, I don't know.
Crazy
Jacob
game.
knows it's tough. But yeah, I think you're right. Jacob does seem really good at, like, deductive reasoning. And Erik, I would say, is more of a field player. You know, that's what I like. I'm a field player as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, he passes the turn. Maybe he's going for a double. He's just going for a chump block?
Chump block, wow, okay.
That's,
Erik must put Jacob solely on Lightning Bolt. He didn't even think about that. He just decided, okay, my opponent has Bolt. I have to block. I can't go to 3.
I guess Erik is valuing Geist so much, but there's another Goyf.
Right.
Yeah. Really doesn't seem like it's working out for Erik this game. There's the days, and there's a days. I mean, Jacob knew about the days, and I think Erik knew that Jacob had a days.
Oh, wow, look at
Nimble
that.
Mongoose.
Jacob adds 7 power to the board on this turn.
And because he was able to daze after Erik, he has the extra mana for the Nimble Mongoose.
Right, just really, really well played by Jacob Wilson. He had no lands for so many turns, and yet he ends the game at 17 life.
Yeah, wow. This is... Some of these games have been so impressive, especially with Jarrett, especially with how Jacob has been playing with Rung Delver. It's really a treat to watch. You know, not to take any credit away from Erik Smith. Erik has been playing, great. I mean, he's in the top 8.
Top 4,
the top 4, that's even better.
So Swords to
I lost track
Plowshares.
of time back.
Jacob up to 21, and Erik Smith consigned to chump blocking here.
Yep. And Yeah, there it is. He's down to 4 life.
Eric Smith.
There's a Misty. There's another Goyf. Goyf's such a good card.
And that's the game
Yeah,
right there.
wow.
Jacob Wilson 1-0.
Insane.
One step closer to adding a Star City Open title to his Grand Prix resume. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, wow. All right, so Eric Smith to your right, Jacob Wilson to your left. These guys are going to go to sideboarding. In the meantime, we're going to come back to us because we have another treat for you guys. We gave away 3 months premium just a moment ago. Now, instead of 3 months, it's going to be 6 months,
Yep,
Zach.
we're doubling the stakes here.
All right, and we have a good question for you. Now, we talked about the Somerset Invitational. It's all about the Mythic Madness.
Yeah.
Say it with me, Zach. The
Mythic Madness.
Like, you're not really doing a good job. We'll try it later for the finals.
Yeah, we'll practice before the finals.
Yeah, we'll definitely practice. So we're doing the Mythic Madness at the Somerset Invitational in New Jersey in just a couple of weeks, July 26th to the 28th. I'm pretty sure those are the dates.
Yep, that's it right there.
If I'm
You
wrong,
got them right.
Don't sue me. Just look on the calendar, right? But anyway, here's our trivia question. We're doing the Mythic Madness. I want to know how many Mythics are we giving out for each Mythic Rare ever made? Is it just one Jace the Mind Sculptor we'll give away? Is it 2, 3?
I don't know. I'll give
4,
you a hint.
What?
More than one Jace the Mind Sculptor.
It's more than one Jace the
Yeah,
Mind Sculptor.
gotta have a
It's
hint.
more than
It's a
one
tough one.
Tarmogoyf.
And you know what? For bonus credit, that's not worth anything.
Okay.
How many mythics have ever been printed? Tweet that one. I'm just curious. So
Yeah.
let us know. But the real question: how many of each mythic are we giving away at the Somerset Invitational?
Yes.
Use the hashtag SCG Premium. You know how it works. That's the one you need.
Yeah.
Tweet at us, and you might win 6 months premium.
And honestly, so far, the questions have been just like as exciting as some of the matches. So remember, it's the Mythic Madness. Again, you messed up. All right, let's cut back to these sideboard guys. What's going on, Zach? Seriously.
I got to work on my enthusiasm.
All right, so you see Eric Smith on the right. He's down a game. You see Jacob Wilson on the left. He's up a game. Jacob Wilson with Rug Delver. Eric Smith with Blue, White, Red Delver. Jacob Wilson's going to go to a sideboard. He has 3 copies of Submerge. Submerge is amazing in the Rug Delver mirror match. It's not very good here. Why? Well, Eric Smith doesn't have any Forest, so Submerge is not going to come in. Jace the Mind Sculptor is going to be Wasteland back and forth, Wasteland back and forth. Probably not. A Vidalian Click, sure, we'll give that a check. Sulfur Elemental, no, doesn't want Sulfur Elemental. Doesn't really want to make those Geist of St. Traps a 3-1 or anything.
No, don't think so.
But you know what card he's definitely going to bring in? Rough and Tumble.
Oh, yeah.
A great answer to Geist of St. Trapt is Rough and Tumble, and that's what Jacob's definitely going to bring in. Pyroblast, sure. Life in the Loan, yeah, definitely. Grafdigger's Cage, nah. Zernorb, I asked Jacob Wilson about Zernorb. I said, hey, did you bring in Zernorb in the Rug Mirror match? And he goes, no. And I'm like, why? And he was just kind of thinking, he's like, well, I'm definitely bringing a Life in the Loam. I'm like, yeah, but Zernorb and Life in the Loam go so well together. So I wonder if he's going to bring in Zernorb against Eric Smith. Zernorb is just a great card, especially with Life in the Loam. It's like a combo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has the Zernorb against Burn,
Sure.
Goblins, things like that. But yeah, maybe he'll bring it in here. Maybe against Blue, White, Red Delver.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. And thank you, Eric Peacock. He's been tweeting in with a couple of tips, and he says that we're doing an excellent job commentating, and he's loving these matchups.
Yeah, I am too, man. All these blue on blue matchups, it just embodies what Legacy really is. This intricate dance. Almost feels like fencing, back and forth and back. Just all these amazing plays.
Right here, before you go to Eric Smith's sideboard, I have a pet peeve. Every single time, no matter where it is, if it's a split card, we only see the first half. Right here, we see rough. You know, even in deck lists.
No love to tumble is what you're saying.
Yeah, no love to tumble. Same thing with Far and Away. Do you think there's just like some system like a Y2K thing where you can't actually have it, everything's going to crash?
I hope we see tumble come out this game
Oh,
for
there
Jacob
it is.
Wilson.
Our producer's choice is too good here. Rough and Tumble, now everybody knows that it's actually the split card. All right, Eric Smith, really quick, what is he bringing in?
Well, you know, he has something like Meddling Mage if he wants it, maybe stop a Tarmogoyf, which proves such a problem for him last game. Not what the card is for.
What do you think about Relic and Engineering Explosives?
Oh, well, Relic is really good. Relic's an amazing way to stop the Tarmogoyf. EE, it's a good way also.
Nimble Mongoose, right?
Yeah, he has the
At
Nimble
least it's a
Mongoose.
way to kill it now.
Yeah.
So I think he has to bring in the 2 Engineering Explosives, the 2 Relic of Progenitors, Red Elemental Blasts, and
maybe the 4th Force will.
I'm not going to say anything about that wear right there. But we all know it's wear and tear. A split card, destroy an artifact, or destroy an enchantment.
I think it's wearing away, isn't it?
No, it's not wearing away. It's far away.
That's Kamigawa card.
Yeah, there it is. Wear and tear. I love this. You know, wear and tear. No real reason to bring that in. So it's basically going to be Engineer's Explosives, Relic of Progenitus, 2 copies of Red Elemental Blast, And probably the Vidalian clicks. I like Vidalian click a lot, especially when it's Delver versus Delver. You just want more flyers. You just want to trade.
Right, more flash cards
Yeah,
too.
you don't want to be tempoed out by just a turn 1 Delver flip. You want to at least have a shot with a Vidalian click. So
Props to Dylan Lee Baker on Twitter. I'm not going to fact check this, but I'm just going to trust him. 320 mythics printed. Awesome job. That was like 2 minutes.
yeah, this guy is yeah, he knows his stuff. For example. All right, so we'll see what happens. Erik Smith on the play. Don't see many lands in his hand.
Yeah, I think he might have to take a mull here unless... I think he has one fetch land?
Yeah, it was a Scalding Tarn he has?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he just said keep.
Okay.
Me with my lip reading ability comes in handy once again. And he's going to probably search up... Last minute addition is the Plateau. And, you know, a couple of these guys are all from Jersey. Not everyone had a Plateau, so some played a Sacred Foundry.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
It wouldn't be the first time. We saw a couple breeding pools on camera earlier today from Pete Ingram.
But if you think about
no slouch.
Erik's the one playing the Plateau, and Erik's the one who's in the top 8. Coincidence?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm
either.
sure he'll credit it to that Plateau when,
Yeah,
when he wins
probably,
this tournament.
All right, so Tundra, and he passes. There's a Wasteland.
Wow, does he say go? Jacob Wilson says go? I think upkeep.
Yeah, upkeep is the perfect time. And it looks like Erik does have his Stifle.
Yeah, see, this is a perfect time to play with and around Stifle because Erik Smith, he
draws a Misty
saves his
Rainforest.
land.
That's really good. I think he might have another land too there hiding. So it might have been a 2-lander that he kept.
Okay, well, that's good. So Misty fetches up the Volcanic. Erik Smith, all his colors, 2 mana to Jacob Wilson's none. Let's see if he has a 1-drop here this turn.
Yeah, I mean, the only 1-drop that he could really have is either Delver or Grim Lavamancer.
Right.
Delver would be the better one here, given Jacob has no board whatsoever, and Grim Lavamancer won't really need to, you know, take care of anything.
Erik Smith has another Stifle. He's going to say go and try and stifle a fetch land or a wasteland from Jacob.
Ooh, but look at Jacob. He has Volcanic Island. He has Tropical Island. He has lots of lands. For 18 lands, Jacob, you know, drew a bunch this game.
Yeah.
Delver Secrets. So Erik has a 3rd land in the form of Misty Rainforest, so he's going to immediately crack it.
Yeah, he realizes what happened last game. These Stifles, he's making sure to crack all these lands.
Do you think this is a good time to get the Plateau now, or he wants a Tundra? Tundra?
No, Tundra. I think the blue mana is too important. If he's ever cut out of blue, he's not in a good place.
Sure, that makes sense. So Erik will shuffle his deck. Erik down to 17, all from the 3 sack lands that he used: Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest, and another Misty Rainforest.
Yeah, we'll see what Erik has for this turn.
His deck. Jacob with a shuffle.
Is that a Grim?
No, it's a Snapcaster, Plow,
Lightning
Bolt, and a Stifle. I think Erik is just going to Lightning Bolt that Delver. He just wants to get rid of it right now while Jacob Wilson's tapped out. He doesn't have to worry about a Spell Pierce followed by a Daze or whatnot.
Right, now sometimes Erik might want to use the Plow if he intends to send the Lightning Bolt to Jacob's face, but this game is developing to more just be a card advantage battle. A battle of who can stick a big threat first rather than a life total battle.
Definitely. Now, there is some argument for Erik to actually pass, have Jacob think that the Delver might flip, so Jacob might go for a Brainstorm. Even if he doesn't go for a Brainstorm, Erik could see what card Jacob drew to flip it.
That's a good point.
So I think Erik played it extra cautious there when he didn't really need to. Either way is fine, though. But I know Erik loves Magic, and he's gonna watch this tape probably 5 or 6 times. And out of those 6 times, 5 of those times are going to be when he's at work.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? And now, you talking about the Plateau, turns out you were right. Yeah, this Volcanic Island.
You kind of want to diverse your, you know, you have 2 red, have 2 blue, have 2 white. But Erik is going to go for a Stifle here, I believe. He really wants to protect his Volcanic Island.
Yeah, I think so, especially for tanking so long on that. Jacob definitely knows he has Stifle now.
Yeah, there it is. There's a Stifle. All right, so 3 lands to 1 right now. Was that a Brainstorm?
Yeah. Daze. Okay.
All right, Jacob draws. Jacob's still playing the game very well. He has lots of lands.
Yeah, 2 Rough Tumble and lots of lands. Jacob needs to find a Brainstorm to get rid of some of these. And
you know the thing? Jacob doesn't care how long the game goes, especially with 2 Rough and Tumbles in his hand, because he also has Life from the Loam. And he knows that he could get to a point where he could just lock Erik Smith out of all his lands.
That's a really good point. Erik Smith has nothing like Life from the Loam in his sideboard, no late game advantage. He has no Crucible. He has no Planeswalker to side in.
All right, so there's a Wasteland on the Volcanic Island, and I think Eric's probably wishing he got that Plateau now.
Yeah, right you are.
All right, there's a Delver. I think... Erik had a Daze there, right?
Yeah, I think he wants to save that Daze for something a little more important because he does have 2 Plows.
2 Plows, and he just wants to plow. Yeah, that's definitely fine. And Erik does draw Volcanic Island.
So lots of
and
lands for both
now,
these players.
Now do you think he's going to use... Okay, again, he doesn't take my line where he could pass, try to see if Jacob does a brainstorm, find out more information.
Right, overly cautious, like you said. He has 2 plows in hand, so even if Jacob does somehow counter that with his 1 mana, the 1 extra mana, not a huge deal. But
Sure.
again, minor plays.
All right, definitely really close.
So Delver comes down, another Delver, 3rd one of the game for Jacob Wilson. We'll see what Erik Smith's plan is for this one.
Okay, we'll see what happens here. There's Erik Smith. Okay, there's a plow on the Delver. And is Erik out of plows now? Is it just the Snapcaster left for a plow?
Yep, he had 2 plows, and he's used both of them. Wasteland, and he'll take out that green source while Jacob can't stifle that without cracking the fetch.
Okay, we'll see what happens. There's a draw. There's a
Ooh,
nimble mongoose. All right, both players just really, playing really cautiously, maybe overcautiously, but hey, it's almost 11 o'clock at night. These guys played a lot of Magic, but Jacob, I have to give him so much credit. He played so patiently. The first time Jacob ever went to LSV's store, LSV said, you know what? This guy is going to win a Grand Prix one day.
No, actually, he said that about 2 players who were...
Did he?
Yeah.
What did he say about?
Shahar Shenhar
Okay.
and Jacob Wilson.
And both those guys won Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Shahar won... Did he win 3?
3
Did he?
Grand Prix.
Yeah, Shenhar is sick.
A
He's
beast.
a sicko, yeah. That's insane. 3 Grand Prix, and he's like 19 years old. Maybe he's 20. Maybe he's 18. I don't know. All these guys are
He looks
young.
like 16, so...
But he's tall, that's for sure. So, all right, there's a Snapcaster Mage. Erik's thinking, all right, I'm going to go for the Stifle here. Does Jacob have anything?
Nope, he's
No,
just going
he
to let
doesn't.
that happen. He
Okay.
wants to make sure Jacob has no green mana to cast any geese or goyfs.
All right, so 2 comes in right there. There's a Delver of Secrets. So Jacob will draw for his turn.
So brainstorm for Jacob. I think Erik is thinking about it here. And yeah, it resolves.
1. Oh, there's another Wasteland. There's a Scalding Tarn. And there's a Lightning Bolt. All right, and remember, he still has that Rough and Tumble. So he wants to be able to, rough everything away before the Delver becomes flipped, because it deals 2 damage to each non-flyer.
That's right. It's
So
not
that's-
quite a pyroclasm, almost.
That's something to think about.
So Jacob finally resolves a brainstorm, finally draws a brainstorm. He's finally able to shuffle away one of those 2 rough and tumbles. He's had 2 in his hand for way too long, just these 2 dead cards. And now his hand looks a lot better. And you know what? If you don't know much about Legacy, that's the power of brainstorm. He trades 2 bad cards in his hand for 3 good cards, and it's almost like he Ancestral Recalled.
Okay, we'll see what happens here.
So looks like Rough Tumble and Wasteland. He's way ahead, he's way behind on mana. So the Wasteland, not too big of a deal. He's realized he's lost that fight. Fetch land. Yep.
All right, so Jacob Wilson, he's going to fetch up a tropical island here.
Right, and so there it is. There's the drop, and he's going to try and drop a goose, a 3/3 Shroud Nimble Mongoose.
Yeah, all right, he will present his deck, and there's the Nimble Mongoose. So Erik takes a look at his hand, and there's that Daze.
Yep, and a
Wow.
little surprised he didn't daze the brainstorm, but
Yeah,
it looks good now.
Really patient. Yeah. Both players playing excellently here, really taking their time, thinking about the plays. Unfortunately, that Delver didn't flip, and
Yep.
there it is.
Boom.
2 damage, and is it going to resolve? Man,
Erik
it
Smith
is, yeah.
left with the 1 card. He drew this turn. He draws another. He needs a Geist.
Ooh, that
Oh,
was
there
a
it is.
Geist. Jeez, these draws have been great. There it is, Rough and Tumble, 2 damage to each creature without flying, or 6 damage to each creature with flying. You're almost never going to cast Tumble,
No,
realistically.
not with Rug Delver.
No.
So
Alright.
Geist of St. Traft, there it is. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of this fetch land from Erik Smith. I'd rather keep it for a brainstorm. But again, playing in fear of Stifle, you can't blame him because it was Stifle that got him game 1.
All right, there's that Nimble Mongoose. 3/3. That stands in the way of a Geist for sure.
Sure does. Now Erik Smith, he needs that Engineered Explosives right now, doesn't he?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, right now, the way the game played out, I want to say both players deserve to win because they've both been playing really, really well.
They could ID.
Yeah, they could, right? Yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's just ID this round.
So here we go, Relic.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's a great draw.
Yeah.
That'll allow Erik to start swinging with that Geist of St. Traft.
Now, if that Geist wasn't so important, you could do a play where you could attack, then he would block with no Mongoose, then after combat he could blow the Relic to shrink it.
You can't do that though because of the ever-present threat of Stifle.
Oh yes, that's true. And also, obviously, you don't want to you don't want to lose Geist,
right?
Because Geist is just so important.
So I think Erik should just pop this right now, draw a card, see what he hits. Maybe it's a Ponder, maybe it's a Wasteland. Yeah, it could be a lot of things. Not really sure what he's hesitating for.
We'll see.
Maybe thinking about Stifle. Maybe thinking about, can I afford to wait until Jacob taps out?
All right, Erik definitely in the tank here, and he's going to go for it. He wants to remove all graveyards from the game.
He says, do you have it?
And he wants to draw a card, and if that's going to resolve, Erik will draw a card for his turn off the Relic, and I can't make out what it is, so we'll be patient.
Yep, but here comes the Angel token.
Yep.
Boom, 6. Drop Jacob to 9.
Yeah.
And it looked like Jacob was in amazing
know,
shape,
yeah,
but a
it
series
really
of good draws by Erik.
Yeah, all right,
he's right back in it.
Brainstorm. Do you think Jacob could just refill his entire graveyard?
Yeah, I think so. It wouldn't be that hard. There's a Ponder, there's a Probe. That's already 3.
Yeah.
He's a Fetch Land and a Wasteland away from 5. I mean,
it's close.
He could do it.
Yeah, I mean, he does have an extra turn. Even if the Geist attacks with the Angel, that's only 6, bringing Jacob down to 3.
Wow, you know, he's looking for a rough tumble right now. He'd be happy to 2-for-1 himself if it means dealing with the really dangerous Geist. That Geist is going to kill him in a couple short turns.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Ponder 1, 2, 3. Keep or shuffle? That's what Jacob's thinking about. You know, we can't tell. Looks like he's going to keep, so he must have drawn something he likes.
Fetch land.
Yeah, Scalding Tarn's pretty good.
Yep, try and fill up the yard. All of a sudden, this is...
now he's on 3, just 4 away. Oh, there's a Stifle.
Whoa, Erik Smith drawing very, very well this game. He went Geist into Relic into Stifle over the course of 2 turns, and what a turnaround.
Yeah, a lot of sick draws from Erik. I mean, between the top 8 match that we saw, that was just a great game, especially Game 3, and this match right here, this game has just been back and forth, even Game 1.
Yeah.
So a lot of really good legacy has been played so far.
Yep, and it looks like we have an update for you from the other match. Brian takes Game 1. That's Brian Knopp over Jared Betcher.
Okay.
Rug Delver up 1-0.
Sure. All right. There's a Gataxian Probe, and I'm not quite sure what Jacob drew. But he's going to attack for 1.
He knows that he won't be chump blocking this turn.
All right, Erik draws. Jacob's really hoping that Erik just bricks off right here.
Oh, no dice.
No brick there. Daze, Volcanic Island, Snapcaster Mage. Wow, the last card, Snapcaster Mage, is really going to push Erik Smith over the top, I think, here.
Right, he's going to be able...
see a Game 3.
Yeah, I think we are. Unless Jacob Wilkes can pull something miraculous here. I think Erik Smith's going to take this one.
Yeah, we'll see. Pretty sure he's just going to keep that Snapcaster in hand. He's going to attack. There's that Angel token. That's sick. Jacob goes down to 2 life. Erik passes. Jacob draws a Lightning Bolt.
Not quite.
Normally good against a 2/2, but not one with Hexproof.
Yep, Jacob's going to, well, he was going to Gataxian Probe.
Yep, we'll see. What can Jacob do? Can he do anything? He's weighing his options. We'll see what happens. Taps the Tropical Island. There's a Gataxian Probe. Yep. And all right, that's game right there. So we're going to a Game 3. Amazing game. I just have to give a lot of credit to both players so far. Erik Smith and Jacob Wilson played very well. They really took their time. They thought everything through, and you know, it looked bad for Erik. And then it looked bad for Jacob, and then it looked bad for Erik again. And Erik ended up, you know, winning, tying the match. So we're going to a Game 3 right now. Won his match and is now in the top 4. Our top 8 match was great. Our top 4 match so far is great. I want to just congratulate all the players for making top 8 on this massive legacy tournament, over 300 players.
Yeah, and you know what, Jacob Wilson, I have to say I'm so impressed with his play today.
Yeah, it's really comical how well he played. You know, I always knew Jacob was a great player. He won a Grand Prix. I knew Jacob before he won a Grand Prix. He would really go to a lot of the Grand Prix, just be a grinder. Every once in a while, make a top 64. Boom, all of a sudden win a Grand Prix. Followed it up with a 2nd place at another Grand Prix. And Grand Prix nowadays, 2,000 players,
Yeah.
3,000,
Even top 16,
4,500.
top 32, top 64, even cashing a Grand Prix is so
Yeah,
impressive. Top
it really is.
5% of the field.
Yeah. So
Jacob Wilson has a win.
yeah. So it looks like good news for everyone out there who is a Brian Knott fan. He's on to the finals with Rug Delver, so he's going to be playing for the trophy for $2,400 and so many Star City Games points that he'll be qualified for a bunch more invitationals.
Yeah.
Maybe
really,
even get a buy, a buy or two at the invitational. Forget about it. That's really good.
It's worth a lot, especially if it's in one of your weaker formats, the first format.
Yeah. I never really thought about it like that. So
Really?
Erik Smith is going up to 6. What would you say, the most part, the players who are at the invitational, is it Legacy or Standard? What's the weaker format for the players? Legacy probably, right?
Yeah, it's definitely Legacy. I think a lot of
Really
pretty much
complex.
everyone's familiar with Standard, but Legacy, a lot of players skipped the Legacy Open. A lot of players played the Draft Challenge when it existed. A lot
Sure.
of players played side events, just went home.
Okay.
Legacy's a weak point.
All right, so there's Jacob Wilson. He's starting off with a Misty Rainforest. He's going to sack that. He's going on 19. He's going to fetch up a Volcanic Island. And let's see if he has a turn 1 Delver Secrets. We know it's not going to be a Nimble Mongoose, otherwise he probably would have got a Trop Island. Oh, it's a Ponder. Okay. So Jacob looks at 1, 2, 3. I see a red card. Can't really make out too much else. There's a Wasteland, Misty Rainforest. Maybe. Oh, okay. It might have been 2 Misty Rainforests. Just a bunch of lands. And in this matchup, lands is never really a bad thing.
Right, with all the stifles, all the wastelands flying about, you can often bait your opponent into using resources fighting over lands when you just have a ton of them too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Erik Smith fetches up a Tundra, and maybe he'll have a Ponder of his own, maybe he'll have a Delver, maybe he'll just sit on something like a Stifle or a Daze plus the ability to pay for Jacob's Daze. It is a Ponder. All right, so pretty much the mirror match so far, although of course Erik is playing with white, where Jacob Wilson is playing with red.
Yep, and Ponder sees it looks like Stifle, Fetchland, and some other card, not sure what.
Yep. All right, so yeah, I can't really make it out. Eric's definitely in the tank, looks at the 3 cards, looks at his hand, looks back at the 3 cards, and he'll decide to keep, and it's a Scalding Tarn. So Jacob will draw, I believe, a Wasteland, which it is, and this might be a nice time to waste that Tundra.
Right, while Eric's tapped out.
Perfect.
And yep, there it is.
All right, and there's a Ponder. So Jacob really ahead right now. He was on the play, and that's really big in this matchup, Rug Delver versus Blue-White-Red Delver.
Right, I don't think it's any coincidence that the player on the play has won both of the games so far in the semifinal, and Jacob, as we see, are off to a huge start.
Yeah, to be fair, Erik, he didn't really win a fast-paced game 2. It was really, really back and forth, so I don't know how much being on the play, but I could definitely agree where some draws could just be so much better on the play.
Right, he might not have won because he was on the play, but he certainly put himself in the position in the early game to win on the play, put Jacob down to 0 lands on the back of that tempo swing, the play tempo swing.
All right, there's a Scalding Tarn. It gets sacrificed by Erik Smith. He's going to search his deck. Let's see what he's going to go fetch up. Probably another Tundra. And we'll see if he has anything else to follow this up. Jacob Wilson already with 4 cards in his yard, but something that I saw in Erik Smith's hand was the Relic that he boarded in to keep Threshold at bay. Maybe you don't always want to just blow it right away. Maybe you want to do one card, one card, one card. Then when you need the card or you really need to remove all the cards, forget about it. So Jacob will now untap, and he draws a Delver of Secrets. Just the way Jacob really, handles his cards. Before he does anything, he thinks about it. Sometimes people, draw their cards like, oh, they get excited it's a Delver.
Like snap play their land,
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. Yep.
Yeah, but not Jacob. He knows that the rounds in the top 8 and the top 4 in the finals is untimed. You have to play at a reasonable pace, but he's definitely using the time to his advantage. Erik Smith doing the same thing, being very patient, thinking, what can I do? What does Jacob have? What's my path to victory?
Right. The untimed rounds really let you play slower, a little cagier. Maybe, they maybe will make you make some plays for the long game that you might not otherwise make.
Exactly.
And, well, let's see what he's doing about this Stifle on the Wasteland. Is Jacob going to fight back? Can he fight back? No, just a Delver.
All right. So Erik will draw Lightning Bolt, and it looks like he's going to blow that Misty Rainforest immediately for a Volcanic Island. He just wants to get rid of that Delver. Do you think he's going to take my line that I suggested where he could pass and get some extra information, or you think, boom, right away?
I think he probably, should, but he hasn't yet, so I expect him to just bolt that right away. He seems really afraid of what Jacob Wilson can do in terms of with 1 mana.
Yeah, I mean, it does open him up to, say, something like a Spell Pierce.
Yeah, Spell Pierce especially.
I think in Game 2 the situation was slightly different. Erik had more than 2 lands. I believe he had 3. So I think it's something that Erik is thinking about, though.
Right, and he has so much removal in his hand that it wouldn't even really be that big of a deal. And wow, yeah, he's doing your play now.
Yeah, let's see. So there's a Daze, and this is perfect now. Now that he has knowledge of Daze, before Jacob actually draws the Daze, he's able to go for that bolt.
Yeah, that really is perfect. Daze is the absolute best card Jacob could have flipped there, because now Erik can play around that. And that's a pretty, well, I'm not going to say it's an easy card to play around because it's not, but at least he has knowledge of it.
Yep. Alright, and there is a Misty Rainforest. Does Jacob have any follow-up play? I think I see Bolt, Brainstorm, maybe Daze in his hand. Both players not with much real pressure. They're just, if they have something in play, it's getting bolted, it's getting countered.
Right now,
another Wasteland.
Jeez. Jacob Wilson really favored here. He has the Brainstorm. He's going to be able to sculpt his hand, maybe find a Nimble Mongoose to put some pressure on, an untargetable Mongoose, but for now he's content to say go and upkeep, again like he's done all match here.
Alright, so he's tapping blue from this volcanic island. There's going to be a Brainstorm and Erik Smith's upkeep.
Oh, this is interesting sequencing here.
It really is.
With the Brainstorm before the Wasteland.
1, 2, 3. I see a Rough and Tumble. I see a Nimble Mongoose, a Daze. Nimble Mongoose is very, very strong in this matchup. You saw how strong it was previously, and you know, not much has changed. The only card that Erik really has against it is yes, the Engineer Explosives, and yes, the Relic, but we saw Jacob build up his graveyard quicker and quicker.
Yeah, I don't know,
so definitely something really interesting to think about.
Yeah. So, still the upkeep. Jacob Wilson put back 2 cards. Let's see if he cracks the fetch right now. Let's see if he Wastelands right now. What is his play?
I think he wants to Wasteland. I think he wants to go after that Tundra. And you know, Erik eventually is going to run out of lands in his deck if the game goes long enough, or Jacob Wilson won't because of Life from the Loam. Unless Erik has set up something with a Relic to kind of combat that Life from the Loam.
Right, you know, it is a really minor consideration, the 1 life from the Loam in terms of long game inevitability, but it is something to think about, because if Jacob ever assembles the combo of Wasteland Loam at a relatively stable board, he's going to win almost on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, the game will go long, but I understand what you're saying there.
Right.
Alright, so Erik fetches up a Tundra.
And this is all still in his upkeep, I believe.
Yeah.
So, still in the upkeep step, Misty Rainforest gets cracked for Jacob. He doesn't want Erik drawing the Stifle to stop him from shuffling away the Daze that he put on top there.
Probably going to be a Tropical Island he'll go fetch up, especially with that Nimble Mongoose in hand.
Right. And now Erik Smith can't wait to draw his card for the turn here. He's been waiting patiently, and here we go.
Ooh, Grim Lava Mancer.
Okay.
That's a pretty good draw.
Kind of some anti-synergy with that Relic, but Erik Smith doesn't have to pop that Relic until he needs to.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Erik just didn't play out the Relic yet. Just, you know, ping 1/1/1, keep Jacob Wilson's graveyard in check, while, you know, have his graveyard be used to do something with the Grim Lava Mancer.
Right, okay, so we have a main phase Lightning Bolt from Jacob Wilson here. He needs to get that Lava Mancer off the board, and he does.
Alright, there's a Nimble Mongoose.
Yep, Spell Pierce from Erik Smith can't counter that.
And Erik will draw. He's probably looking for something good here. Instead he gets a Volcanic Island. Not the best draw. He just wants to take a look at Jacob's graveyard, see how many cards are there. As he does, he knocks over his library. So
7, 8, 9.
We've all done before, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's about 10 cards in Jacob Wilson's graveyard. So the first ability on Relic, the tap to remove a card, not going to be relevant. I don't think Erik Smith can outpace Jacob Wilson's cantrip.
Sure. I mean, if Erik played that Relic earlier on in the game and it resolved, maybe it could.
Right.
Relic also is a non-synergistic card with Erik Smith's Snapcaster Mages, which he has 2 of in his deck. So the Relic hits play, and Erik will pass the turn to Jacob. Jacob draws, immediately attacks for 3. Erik decides to take this and fall down to 13 life. And I don't think Jacob has any other play here. And he just passes the turn. During the end step, Erik will say, you know what, you have to remove 1 card. Not going to be too relevant. Jacob will probably just remove a creature or the Lightning Bolt. He wants to really remove a card that Erik has something of, so his Goyf could remain as big as possible. So there is some thinking there. He might just not want to remove the first card that, comes to mind. All right, Erik just passes the turn. Jacob draws another Brainstorm. Jacob is doing a great job holding on to the Brainstorm, something a lot of players in Legacy doesn't do. But Jacob's the opposite. He'll hold his Brainstorms. He'll only play it when he thinks he really needs to.
Right, and here comes a Brainstorm from Jacob Wilson. This is in response to the cracked Relic of Progenitors. He's looking for a Stifle.
Yeah, I think I see a Goyf, and a Rough and Tumble is going back on top of the deck. Erik doesn't have a Geist, so there might not be any use for that Rough and Tumble quite yet. Alright, so that Nimble Mongoose will fall down to just a 1-1. Erik will only drop to 12 life, I believe.
Yep, that looks right. And Erik, he has a lot of tools in his hand, but none of them can really interact with this Nimble Mongoose. And Jacob, 1 out of 7 for Threshold. So he's pretty far away, but if there's one thing Rug Delver's good at, it's getting Threshold.
Alright. Misty Rainforest is cracked. Erik is doing some math in his head. He does have a Stifle. He's thinking about it here.
It looks like his hand is Engineered Explosives, Lightning Bolt, Stifle, Sword, Spell Pierce.
Yeah. Alright, so an interesting combination of cards. Nothing really stands out like, oh, this card's going to take control of the game, but a lot of various answers.
Yep, and Jacob Wilson has Flusterstorm available, as well as a Daze, a Brainstorm. Oh, 2 Dazes, a Brainstorm.
Flusterstorm is kind of an interesting one right here. I guess it might be needed in the matchup, or it's just maybe like a Miser's one of.
Yeah.
So right, Jacob's trying to cut Erik off of white mana. I think what happened was that Erik thought that Jacob played that Misty Rainforest that turn, which I don't think he did.
Yeah, there is a table judge there at the table, so if any kind of illegal play, accidental illegal play happens, you'll catch it.
Yeah, sometimes so much time has passed during the game, and each turn is just so complex. Players are thinking, we're focusing on what's going to happen, what's the next move, how is Jacob going to try to win the game, how is Erik going to try to combat this Nimble Mongoose. So it looks like there is a Brainstorm from Jacob.
And Erik thinking about this one. He has the Spell Pierce available to him. He's been sandbagging it for a while now. I wonder when he's finally going to pull the trigger, what he's waiting for.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, who do you think's favored in the match? Is it a clear favorite, or is it just going to be back and forth?
It's really hard to tell. Eric Smith's hand is better, but Jacob Wilson, like you said, he has inevitability with the long game. If he can just find that life from the loam, he'll be in good shape. Rough Tumble drawn for Jacob. Knocks Erik to 11. And,
there's a Goyf. All right. So Erik does have Plow in hand, but he has no white source as of now.
Right, the Wasteland took that out. Goyf only a 2/3, so it may look like a big clock, a Goyf and a Goose, but it's really only, well, now it's a 3/4.
All right, so there's a Ponder 1, 2, 3. We see a Wasteland. We see another Wasteland. If it's not a white source, I think he has to shuffle. Those Wastelands aren't really going to do that much. I mean, there is some argument where Erik thinks that he might be at a high enough life to take one hit from the Mongoose and the Goyf, then play an Engineer's Explosives on 2. But instead, he's just going to shuffle and just hope they rip the white land right away, which I really don't blame him.
No, he has to do that right now. All the Wastelands in the world don't matter if your life total is 0. Erik knows this. He has to find his swords here.
Yeah.
Or rather, a white source for his swords.
Yeah, just a really great, exciting game, to be honest.
Yeah, and if you're having trouble hearing us, turn your sound up. We do have to be a little quiet because this hall is almost empty.
Yeah, just down to about 15 people.
Yeah, we can't have the players being influenced by our talking here.
Yeah, basically it's 15 people in Joe Larson's hair, so about 15 and a half.
Yep.
All right, so there is 4 damage. Erik drops down to 7. He draws a Misty Rainforest.
There it is.
He does have another relic. He has a Plow. He has a Bolt. There's a relic. I see a Daze. I see a Flusterstorm in Jacob's hand.
Yep. Now, it's important to note that Erik doesn't have to use the sacrifice ability of Relic. He can target himself to remove that Ponder if he wants to, shrink that Tarmogoyf to 2/3.
Yeah, you can shrink it to a 2/3, and then you could bolt the Tarmogoyf.
Right.
So since there's already an instant in the graveyard, it won't get any bigger.
Yep, so upkeep, is he going to do anything? No.
No, it doesn't do anything on the upkeep. Ooh, Jacob Wilson drew another lightning bolt.
That's pretty good.
That's danger for Erik. Erik might be facing lethal right here, and he might not even know it.
Yeah, Jacob doesn't have 2 greens, or rather 2 red sources.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right, so he blows the Relic.
Yep.
Erik will draw a card. Now, pre-combat, do you think Jacob's going to try to bolt Erik? Yeah, that's exactly what he does. So instead of that bolt doing only 3 damage, essentially that bolt is doing 4.
Right. 1 from the Tarmogoyf, 3 from the bolt.
Yeah. And Erik's thinking, hey, can I really go down to 2 life here? He probably can't. I mean, I think he might just have to sack that Misty and hope Jacob doesn't have anything.
Right.
And go for a plow.
Erik definitely can't play around Stifle right now. The question is, can he play around Daze? I think is the question.
All right.
So Erik drops to 2.
Yeah, he should be at 2 life right now. And Erik draws for his turn. Yeah, these fetch lands aren't going to help him too much now.
No, his only real line is to bolt the Goyf and hope his engineered resolves.
Yeah.
Well, hope he draws a dual land or a wasteland and that his engineered resolves.
What is this? That's a Flusterstorm.
Oh wow, and Erik has Spell Pierce, but the Flusterstorm has Storm, meaning that that won't work.
Well, the whole thing is that Erik needs to play the Engineer's Explosive this turn on 1 to take care of the Nimble Mongoose.
Right.
I think early in the game what happened was that Erik was on, I believe, 13 life, maybe 16, and then fell to 13. And there's a chance that Erik may have just blown the Relic just to save some damage early. You know, when you think, oh, I'm at 13, I'm at 16, why do I need to save some damage? Well, it will come back to really get you sometimes. There's Flusterstorm on the screen. 1 blue mana instant, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1, and of course, it has Storm. Yeah, I believe it was out of one of the Commander decks. Yep.
So, Jacob Wilson on the verge of moving to the finals here. Erik Smith, he's out of options. He can Swords the Goyf. He can force one of the Flusterstorms.
But again, he's at 2
yeah,
life.
it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Erik Smith would need something right here like a Lightning Helix, which doesn't see play, but it is a powerful card because of this reason. Just 1 more mana. All right, and that's it. He said good game.
Wow.
And, you know, Erik can't be too disappointed. Making top 4 and open is definitely strong. Erik's going to walk away with $600. He's going to walk away with many, many SCG points. And, of course, he's going to walk away with some great memories here.
Yeah, really cool. His first top 8, he got as far as the top 4. Congratulations to him. But, you know, more importantly, congratulations to Jacob Wilson. He joins Brian Knopp
in the finals. This is going to be a